Hey gang, I've been having a bit of a philosophical day today, just thinking about, I guess just trying to be more self-awareness. Just been thinking about that. I watched a really good video this morning by a channel called Slicey Dicey, and I would suggest, I'll link it below, I would suggest watching that, even if you pause this video, and go and watch that one first, because it's kind of got me thinking a lot about just my approach towards how I review things, maybe how I should review things, what I should do differently, and just also kind of, it's made me think about the way I see the world a little bit. So, a very successful video, really, because this last couple of weeks has been a bit strange. It's always a bit strange when, geez, sorry, my glasses make crazy reflections. It's always a bit strange when you get something that doesn't work properly and it causes controversy, causes like like an extra bit of strife out there in the world, and it's something you have to come to terms with being, I guess, the source of that strife. If you would call this strife, I would sort of like to think it's not strife, but if it is, then I guess you have to be aware that when especially once I start saying things and putting things on camera, then yeah, it certainly becomes it's out there and you can't take it back. It's like the toothpaste, you can't put it back in the tube. So yeah, it's one of those things. It does make me a bit reassess perhaps how I go about things and what I could have done better, what I should do better, or what I should just keep doing the same. And it also, yeah, gets towards my own sort of way of seeing the world as well. Seeing perhaps, yeah, I think I do see things perhaps in a slightly different colour to a lot of other folks. So anyway, with the Modus business, the steel wheel Modus, I tested a steel wheel knife. I just fired it up for an edge retention test. I was planning on doing a M390 data point for my workshop testing, and then an unleash test with the same knife. Long story short, the steel underperformed with the workshop. It underperformed massively, and then with the even with the Lansky edge, it just wasn't doing what M390 should do. Which, in hindsight, I am totally fine with the way that I went about that. I thought I did a pretty fair test. I thought I'd really tried a fair way towards getting rid of most, oh, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. So I feel like I did pretty well doing that. And, some people will always just disagree with how my edge tests go, and that's totally fine. All I ask is that I don't know, if you are going to critique, do it constructively. But otherwise, that's totally fine. If my videos aren't to your flavour, then go either edge test yourself, or you just go by anecdotal only, or just don't worry about what steels you use, or go and find another person doing it. Fine, whatever. So, but for those who are sort of already on board, before we get to like the actual testing, I think I did okay. I think it was an okay way of testing. I think I was fair enough, because I was aware that I would be saying something that wasn't ideal for the about the knife and about maybe the brand. So I did give it a fair shake. One thing, and this is getting towards what I probably getting towards my sort of own self-awareness, and just sort of perhaps a momentary lapse of that. One thing I'm regretting about the whole process, I don't care about, I think it's completely within it's almost our responsibility to report back if things aren't working properly for you. So it might save a person a headache, or it might explain, someone might find comfort in that I am going through the same thing that they're going through with their knife. Maybe that, geez, mine's not holding an edge either. So I think that serves a purpose. But what I think in hindsight I don't like about what I did was sharing that the Instagram comment exchange. That felt like it feels like a bit of a shitty thing to have done now. I don't know why. I should have just said, I've contacted Steel Wheel and they didn't want to tell me who their OEM was. I don't like how I've kind of made it more about the actual person behind that comment, because they were just answering the Instagram comments. They probably get hundreds a day. I didn't introduce myself well enough saying, hey, I'm a reviewer. I just sort of asked the question, hey, what factory do you use? And then I went and put that in my video, which I don't think that was fair of myself to do. And that is the one part that is sticking in my craw just a little bit. So next time I don't think I will do it that way. I would probably do everything else the same. In the video that is excellent, I think I've already said, he does mention that if he gets a problem with a product, he then tells the company first, and then gives them an opportunity to either explain, make it better, and then puts it in a final review. I think that is more of a personal choice in how you go about things. I think as long as you test the product fairly, you could really add some massive wait times onto your things, and then more people could perhaps be buying the knife without the issue identified. It's a very, very 50-50, and I'm not sure if I 100% agree with that, sharing with the company before you share with the customer. Although, perhaps it's different if the company is sending you things for review. My reviews are never done with company sent products, very, very rarely. Hardcore Hardware Australia will send me things from time to time, and Quiet Carry and Nutsack have sent me things from time to time, but I'm very upfront about those things when they do come through like that. So yeah, that is the one thing I'm sort of sitting a bit uneasily with, and that's more, I don't particularly, I'm not bothered if an organization is like, oh man, these YouTube videos are a pain in the asses. I don't want to have got someone in trouble. And I mean, I guess it's always possible down the line. Say if it was a heat treating issue, say if you point anything out, you know, say if the bearings are fall out, then you might get the bearing putting guy in trouble. I don't know, but just one of those things. I feel a bit shitty about that. I'm just being completely honest. You've got me in a moment of honesty, a moment of philosophy, I guess. Because it was a good video, and I really did. Yeah, I'm quite a new reviewer, and this guy obviously speaks with a fair bit of experience across multiple fields of review. So there you go. There's that. But yeah, overall, would the technical procedure of it all, I'm pretty happy with, for sure. But yeah, it's got me sort of moving more towards why do I feel this way, and because you know, I try and be self-aware. So probably call this video self-awareness. I try and be aware of like what I'm actually doing and what the consequences of my actions are, and where my biases are coming from, why I am the way I am. And I think a lot of people, or just the world in general, we kind of just like, nah, I am me, I am not compromising, I am going headlong like a freight train. If everyone was a freight train plowing full speed ahead, you would have some horrible collisions, and I guess we do. That's why we have terrible things happen in the world, people being unwilling to self-reflect. So that's what I'm trying to do right now, self-reflect. It's funny, I think I have a way of looking at the world, and I generally do, and it's kind of probably why I'm disappointed in myself that I didn't do it this time. I generally look at the world, I try and look at the human behind the thing. Generally, in the world of humans, if something happens, it is probably caused by just one single other human, at the most a few humans deciding a course of action together. And yeah, it is hard to I find it's hard once you adopt that viewpoint to get super intensely aggro about stuff. And I love, to be honest, that's one of my favorite things about myself. I really don't get intensely, you know, vendetta-ish about things, because generally it's just going to come back to being one human fuck up. And shit, I have fucked up heaps of times. You know, big things, small things, as you all have, as I, you know, as everyone does, and it's just that whole thing. And so it's a way that I quite enjoy looking at the world. It's not without its pros and cons, which I'll go into in a second, but it is something that I usually aspire to do, and I sort of feel a bit crappy just for that one individual person. Not about the knife, happy to point out the knife's flaws. I'm happy-ish to not really, to just put it up and then the company can respond if they want, or not if they don't. Like, that's fine too. It's just something I'm kind of grappling with, as I guess as the channel gets a bit more, you know, traction to it. Traction 10,000 coming up soon. So yeah. But yes, with regards to this sort of viewpoint, I do find that it makes the good things really good, but it can sometimes make the bad things kind of harder to ignore, sort of thing. Because when you see a human behind everything that really happens to you that is caused by another human, then you do take things a bit more personally. I am not one for road rage. I think road rage is, this is just an example. Road rage is the removal of the barriers between humans, so you no longer see another human, you just see a car. And a car is not something that we are hardwired to empathize with, which is why people road rage. Road rage is a simple case of this phenomenon, of people not seeing the human behind the things. The internet is the same thing, but probably 5 or 6 more mirrors or, you know, layers of film between the person. That's why since I was very, very new, I've always wanted to just show my face, because it feels like it does just cut that out. I like to think that it probably makes people connect and see that I am a person more than just a like a guy in a mask or something, or just a voiceover. So because I get bothered by, I do get bothered by when people are just like baselessly aggro with me. I'll sort of like to think it might prevent that just a little bit. I don't know. So yeah, it makes the good things better. I'll start with the positives. It really does make the, say I've had a nice week. It's been a good week. I opened my post today, and someone has sent me a Gerber strong arm in BDZ1 steel, just to have. They say, hey man, I saw that you weren't getting any joy from Gerber getting one, so here's a strong arm that you can test, and it's just like, that's insane that someone, it's, on the surface, oh, it's nice, free knife, what, it's really nice of someone to do, but then the way I like to sort of look at it is, this is like someone's time. Like someone's time has gone into, when you get, everything we do, we don't pay with money, we pay with our time. Like if you buy a car that costs $30,000 and you make $45,000 a year, you're paying for that car with 9 months of solid labor. Like, so a knife that's $100, if you get paid $30 an hour, someone's just giving me like 3.5 hours of their life. Like it's a thing. It really is a thing. Like it's and it's something that when you do get this, it's why I have a sort of fair sense of guilt about accepting things from people, because time, the clock is always ticking, and time is just something that is, we are no one, even the really money rich people, they don't have any more time than the rest of us, really, unless they're like so rich that they can cheat death. So yeah, I always, I really, really appreciate this sort of stuff. I kind of get a bit embarrassed about it as well. I kind of don't, I would, is at the level it is now is fine. I don't want a million more people trying to send me stuff, because it takes a bit for me to make peace with it, that's all. But yes, you feel the thing really, really well, because you can see, I can sort of see the aspects behind it, which is nice. Conversely, this is where, and people often say, dude, just ignore the retarded trolls on your channel. And yeah, that's when it's completely baffling, dumb shit. Yeah, there's nothing you can do but do that. But then when you get the people who are like, sort of, they give you that real, like a targeted sort of stuff that you do sometimes get. A lot of people can just go, no, who cares? He's just a tard. And I do, like, I'm pretty liberal with the block button. Like, probably if you've said a shitty comment to me or one of my commenters below, you've probably just got hidden, and yeah, I probably just don't see anything you've written since then. But I do sort of get a bit like, man, this is a human just like me, because we all know how complex we are as individuals. And this is someone who's like watching my video, which is cool. They've watched it to the point where they've either something's got them upset, or that they just watch all my videos just to get in that first dislike, whatever it is, or they just have watched it and then they've reacted really badly to something and they've responded with vitriol. And I just can't quite fathom, because I guess it's that whole thing, and it's just that simple. If you can't say something nice, why would you say anything at all? But because you can say something constructive that's not particularly nice, I guess. So it does cloud it a little bit, and I'm happy for constructive. But when it's just aggro, and that's the thing, like when it's just aggro, I'm always just a bit like, man, this human in their house on their computer, just like watching YouTube, has like had little. I refuse to believe that there are that many like aggro people, like who are 100% aggro. Like, these people must just go to work and stuff, and like they can go to work without screaming at, like, what if they have to deal with customers or deal with co-workers. They can go to work without. Is it like a release thing? I just need to know, or I want to know. It's a very strange thing, because yeah, I kind of acknowledge my own complexity, and I refuse to just think that other people don't have that same level of it, and are sort of when they do something, that they just do things without really really being 100% in it or something. Maybe that's just it. They're not all in, or maybe they are all in, and then it's just like, whoa, how can you hate? It's that hard. But yeah, so it's a funny way of viewing the world, as I'm saying. Very philosophical today. I promise I haven't smoked any bongs or drunk any booze. This and that same video this morning have just set me off on a little journey of self-assessment. Very funny. So yeah, back to steel wheel. Another consequence of that video was that the conspiracy theories went off, and this is again probably why I'm sort of regretting. But then they weren't saying which OEM they were, and why would you keep that a secret? I just don't know. But when I asked them who made the knife, they kind of initially were a bit coy about it, and I feel bad because that made like a conspiracy. a little tiny bit. Like, I'm not saying that this is in the papers or anything stupid like that. It's certainly not. But it's created that line of thought, and that's just the way the world seems to work these days. It's people, when something bad happens, and we are all guilty of this, when something seemingly bad that is random happens, my view is that people find it more comforting to think that there is a big overarching story behind something, rather than just, that's random, the universe is fickle, fuck you. Because that's usually why most things happen. Like, oh, my knife didn't hold an edge. That's random. The universe is fickle. Fuck you. That's what the world is saying to us. But often you feel better because randomness is terrifying. Like the true random nature of the universe. That tomorrow, we've been looking at space. There's this dark patch that seems to be getting bigger. There's a black hole coming. It's going to destroy our planet. That's the random and cruel nature of the universe. Is that. So that randomness does bother people, and I think people do like to fit things into a narrative, and I think that is kind of happening a little bit, but I sort of regret my part in it, I guess is what I'm saying. But then, what I'm also saying is I probably wouldn't have done much else differently. It's just, it's a funny old day. I'm having a funny old view about things. I'm not going to change the way I do anything, but next time I have that same interaction, I think I might sit on it for a day or so before just, because that's a person, man. Like, that's a person who probably had to, just be like, oh, sorry. And then maybe the boss was like, oh, now we have to tell them what your OEM was. And then the OEM was like, hey, if you tell everyone who we make for, then you just don't know these butterfly effects things that happen. I don't know. I just don't know. So yeah, self-awareness. I'm trying to be a bit more aware of my actions and the way they can affect things. But don't get me wrong. If things come across my desk that are flawed, I will certainly be the first person I will tell will be the consumers to, or the people who are looking for the information. Because the minute we start hiding things from the viewers in fear of falling out of favor with the manufacturers, that is when this whole thing is pointless, of course. But yeah, just the way I'm going to go about it is a little bit different. What do you think? I'm interested to know. I am fairly happy to say that my knife was probably just a once-off fuck-up. I have had very limited contact with Steel Will. They said they're going to PayPal me back the money, I guess, at the retail price. So I've sent them my PayPal. I haven't had a long conversation with anyone. I've just been talking with just the customer service person, just like anyone else would. They have offered to send me something else as well. I'm very uneasy about that. If they do send me something else, I will do a review of it and then give it away to another channel, because I really don't do this for free stuff from companies, because that is where it can get a little bit funny unless you do it just right. And lots of guys do it just right, absolutely, but I'm just not sure that that's the way that I want to go. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much to Mr. Slicey Dicey for making a really good video this morning, and I think I would all suggest that you watch it, and it's just certainly got me thinking, as you've just heard, about the nature of lots of things. So yeah, I'll see you all in my next video, which just so happens to be Gerber Strong Arm BDZ 1 versus Gerber Strong Arm, not actually here in my hand, just pretend it is, Gerber Strong Arm 420HC. So that should be fun. Alright guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye now.